Oi, my drillers, it's your geezer Big Donny Cow here for a brand new video. Just going to be a bit of a discussion video where we're going to be talking about Midnight. Now, you see, here's the thing. New expansion coming up, and normally there is a lot of hype. Like, loads. And, like, as I'm browsing YouTube and stuff, I'm seeing videos which are, like, titled, no one's hyped for Midnight. No one cares about Midnight. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, well, why? What could possibly be the reason? We've got this banger cinematic, which I've got playing in the background right now. We've got a really interesting storyline to follow off on. We've been left on a bit of a cliffhanger story-wise. And it sounds like we're getting much more content than what we've got in prior expansions. I mean, we're getting 3 raids in a singular season. That's crazy. On top of that, they're keeping Delves evergreen. We're getting the praise system added on top. Housing has finally came out to the game. Something people have been begging for ages. But there's no hype. Why? I don't get it. Why wouldn't there be hype? Well, thinking about it, I think there are some real big reasons. And I'm going to address some of these reasons sort of off the cuff. There's no script. This is fully what I feel like off the heart. So, yeah, let's dive right into it. I think the first major reason is something that's plagued WoW for a while now. Something which I think is a big contributor to a lot of players not caring about the story at all. And, it's also something which makes each WoW season feel really bland. Every season, there are guides out telling you exactly what to do. There's no discovery for you. You've got, like, 10 different guides getting you through each bit of content out there, any open world grinds you need to do, telling you exactly what you need to do to optimize your gear progression, telling you exactly what buttons you need to press, telling you exactly what talents you need for every boss fight or dungeon before the expansion's even out, before patches came out. I have a serious problem with PTRs, betas, and alphas. A lot of people will argue that it is good for World of Warcraft because, you know, it allows people to see bugs, report it, and Blizzard fixes it. I know that's going to be the counter argument to my argument of saying just shut all betas and alphas and PTRs down. Stop it. It's just a spoiler hive. They're using it as a pretty cheap way to generate engagement and get you interested in the game, rather than, I don't know, adding more prerequisite quest lines and content leading up to the new expansion. PTR and beta and alpha, they've got to go. I've seen this in sort of discussions based on Path of Exile. But one of the things a lot of the players I've heard praise PoE for is when a new season comes out, everyone's on the same ground. Anyone can be that guy to make the big breakthrough discovery of what the big meta build is. Find something niche, find something huge, and put it out there to the world. Whereas in World of Warcraft, there's a select few people who have gone through all the pre-versions of the game before it's on actual live release, and they're telling you everything. There's no discovery. It makes things bland. But going back to the point of bugs. Yes, okay, fine. I hear your point. It's valid. If bugs are found and the game is made less buggy on launch, that is an undisputable positive. I'm not sure how anyone can really sit there and say, yeah, bugs being fixed, that's great. Well, I can see. And that is just the trade-off of the factors that we go into the next season, we're knowing the story, we're seeing all the new zones, we know how to play every single class. There's not much to learn or discover when the new season actually comes to the game. People know it all. You're just sitting there grinding and not exploring, figuring things out. There's no real puzzles for you to put your mind towards understanding how to beat and overcome. That's the trade-off. That's what you lose for these bugs being fixed. Now, I hear this a lot, and I hear this so much from every single beta alpha PTR cycle which happens. I'll say the bug a counter is a pretty valid counter. But it's from the words of the people who are going in and testing, who are going in and reporting all these bugs. We've been reporting this since day one of the alpha, and it's still not fixed. Still not even looked at. Still not even touched. And I hear this for a wide range of features. It happens every single season. I've heard this every single season since I've been playing actively in Legion. I was not following the scene at all in Warlords of Draenor. I stuck to my own little bubble and I didn't talk to anyone there. It was Legion where I started looking more at broader content. And since then, I have heard that every single season there's been various bugs being reported in the very early stages of alpha and never fixed. So you're telling me right now this is the scenario I see. There is a game with alpha, a beta, and PTR being used to find bugs and fix them before the live release. The trade-off is that you've got 101 YouTubers posting every single bit of new content there is out there to just generate in all their easy views, so that, you know, we've got a game where there's not really much point of exploring and figuring things out for yourself. Someone's already done it. Why would you go and do it for yourself? Why would you go and engage with the story when someone's already posted all the big cinematics and whatnot, talked through the general gist of pretty much every single zone? They've already shown you videos of all the zones, and the Blizzard team themselves aren't much better for this. Let me put that out there. I think they're really bad for not just enabling this, but also joining in on the same sort of efforts of putting their content out there before it's even gone live. And I can't really blame YouTubers for building careers off of taking advantage of this. Like, fair play to them. If you're making a living out of what I definitely consider to be one of Blizzard's biggest blunders and a real shot in the foot for World of Warcraft, fair play. Hey, you do you. I personally don't like what you do, but I respect it. I respect it. Fair play to you. Just in general, we've got, allegedly the reason why this is so good is because all the bugs can be fixed, but they're not. And on top of that, we are still going into a lot of seasons with quite buggy launches in general. I'm not talking about the sort of system bugs which get encountered during the testing phases, but I'm talking about the season comes out and all of a sudden, hey, Kalimdor's just been deleted. Wow. Incredible. Okay, that was an extreme example, but it was incredibly funny during Dragonflight when that happened. But no, there are still tons of bugs which are making it to live. I think one of the biggest examples I know of persistent bugs is, I believe it's Assassination Rogue, which has just been faced with bugs forever. I can also tell you Warlock, specifically Demonology, definitely has Soul Shard bugs on pull. Not that I play that anymore, but you know, it would be nice to see it fixed. But I just don't see the reason for there needing to be the testing cycles when the bugs really aren't getting fixed. We might as well just go hold off straight into the live game and bosh, new experience for everyone. People can be excited. Yeah, you want to build up hype? Give us some more cinematics, tease it a little bit, maybe a couple more prerequisite quest lines, because let me tell you, I quite like the Midnight prerequisite quest line. Albeit not a big fan of the focus on the Windrunner sisters, overdone characters, not gonna lie, but the general gist of the story of that, yeah, I'm pretty excited. What Xanath's doing? Yo, I'm interested. I want to know more. But I fear that a lot of people have had this experience ruined for them just in the mere fact of, like, all the content coming out is just... Yeah, I think I've made my point. I think I've made my point. It is just... Everything is figured out before you have the chance to figure it out for yourself. Everything is figured out before you've entered the new content yourself. And I don't see that as being healthy for a seasonal game. This is a seasonal MMORPG at this point, and well, the MMO side of things is feeling more and more debatable every single season, but it's classed as MMORPG, so yeah. Apologies, I just had to shout something. IRL still exists, even when recording a video! And, well, I may be too lazy to edit stuff. I'm gonna make one more major point, and I'm gonna try and make it quickly and compare, like, with stuff in-game. So, my next point, and the only other point I'm gonna make in this video, I'll probably make another video to go over this in general, or maybe touch on a different point, which I think could also, lead into why people might be less excited for playing World of Warcraft and why they might not be as interested in the game. And do know, when I make these videos, I'm not making them to say, yeah, stop playing WoW. WoW sucks. I want to be heard, in a way. So I want Blizzard to sort of know, or at least, for my experience as a customer, to be out there and potentially be used as a way, as a tool for good for Blizzard, so that they can, you know, iterate the game, hopefully in a better way. But why people might be less hyped, and we spoke about this in length on stream, pretty recently. So if I just go to Shadowlands, well, if I just go to previous expansions, look at this. We're looking at raids here. We've got 5 raids for BFA. 5 raids for Legion. Invasion points threw me off there. There are 3 raids for WoDs. 5 raids for Mr. Pandaria. And there's multitude of raids in the earlier expansions. Now, Warlords of Draenor and Shadowlands, 3 raid expansions, but they both had something going on at that time. They had the film in Warlords of Draenor, which took up a lot of their resources and led to cancelled content. And in Shadowlands, they had both the issue of the pandemic and they had a lot of lawsuits on their hand. So you can understand why these expansions had less content to do. Fair enough. I don't really blame them for pulling out effectively 10 dungeons. We're counting mega dungeons as 2 in these counts, okay? And 3 raids. Fair enough. I do not blame you. I do not blame Blizzard for that. You know, Shadowlands, we had quite a few open world grinds, and we had Torghast as an expansion feature. There was quite a bit to do. A lot of content, but I respect a lot of people weren't overly keen on the content that they had to do. But there was still a good amount of content. Okay? Then we come to Dragonflight. An expansion where they didn't have anything like a movie, or they didn't have any lawsuits to deal with, or anything like that. But yet, we have the same amount of raids as Shadowlands. And bear in mind, Shadowlands had that fated season at the end, because they weren't able to create the additional season they wanted to bring in, and they didn't want to repeat their mistake in Warlords Adrenal, so they created the Fated season, so you went back to all 3 raids, and that was a way of them just making up a bit of time and sort of giving us content where they had lacked and not been able to produce. Fair enough. But yeah, Dragonflight, we had 10 dungeons again. Dawn of the Infinite was on Mega. And we had 3 raids and the Fated season. Expansion feature was flying differently. Yeah, that was it. There wasn't really any open world grinds like Corphia or the Maw. Love or hate them, it was still content to do. Dragonflight, quite literally, log in, do your keys, do your raid, log out. That's it. That's it. What else was there to do? Honestly. And then it had the makeshift Fated season again. Why though? They weren't cutting content. They weren't under pressure. Nothing was going on. We just got less content for like with no excuse. At least that's how I've seen it. And I'm sure there's plenty of other people who might be thinking the same way. And so hence, they might feel a bit let down by Blizzard. Thus meaning they're not that hyped for Midnight. War Within comes along. And it's 10 dungeons. 3 raids. Not even a Fated season this time. It's shorter. We knew from the get-go, though, that this would be a shorter expansion. So, okay, fair enough. But it is still less content than before Shadowlands. Albeit, I'll give War Within some credit. We did get some additional grinds. Visions came back. We got Delves to try out. There's a bit of a slightly fresh game mode. You know, they're like, okay, Dragonflight also had some world events which were like purely optional. War Within has also had a few. They've not been overly interesting. But there's not really been any impactful grind to do outside of really Visions and Siren Isle. That's kind of been it. They introduced the turbo boost thing, which it's a love or hate situation. Some people don't like having to do the extra grind in the middle of the season when they feel like they've just finished their gearing. Some people came back to the game for it. Mixed bag. But in general, it does feel like still, we haven't really recovered to the same amount of content we got beforehand. Now, okay, fair enough. This was meant to be a smaller expansion. But if you're not really thinking about that, and you're just thinking, wow, Shadowlands, Dragonflight, and War Within have all had less raids and dungeons than their prior expansions. Like, look, BFA, okay, we could say it's 4.5 because Crucible of Storms was a smaller raid. But that's still, like, 50% more raids than Shadowlands, or Dragonflight, or the War Within. Sorry, I misclicked there. While BFA may have also had, no, sorry, I misremembered. BFA actually has 12 dungeons total, counting Mechagon as 2, as it's the Mega Dungeon. I can see how people would be very let down by that. I can see why. And that is going to hit hype. Genuinely, if people feel like they're not getting the same quality of product, then they are going to lose interest in the future additions to the game. Just is what it is. But anyway, these are sort of my thoughts on why we're not really seeing as much hype for Midnight as compared to other expansions. I would really hope that we see more hype for future expansions going forward. I hope Midnight turns out to be a banger. I I have high hopes. I genuinely do. I do think Midnight will be a good expansion, and I'm looking forward to playing it personally. Very much looking forward to playing the new class on Wednesday. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Yeah, I'm probably going to expand a bit more on my second point in this video, in another video, but I kind of just wanted to sort of make the point. I felt, you know, I should be bringing more to the table than only one singular argument, and there's probably a good few more different reasons as to why we've got such an impact on hype. It could also just be that some people are putting it out of proportion. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. It's very interesting to hear from different people in the community. As of course, I know my own thoughts. I can see other content creators pretty easily. And I know the people around me, all have their own opinions, but there's plenty of you in the community who, I'd wager don't really get much of a chance to voice your own opinion. So if you would like to voice your own opinion, talk about some of the points that I've made in this video, then please feel more than welcome to do so. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and watch my video, and I hope you have a wonderful time in the upcoming expansion, and a wonderful day. Thank you!